right, my scrumptious, delicious lot, how we doing? We've got another edition of Cake-Tok, TikTok, Bake-Tok drama, right? They are still as crazy as ever in the best and worst way. I came to this realization a few videos back when discussing Cake-Tok. People who talk about cakes on TikTok, the bakers, not all of them, but a vast majority of them, have just lost the plot. Okay, and that goes for all the commenters as well. There is so much drama revolving around cakes. I can't even begin to explain to you how up in arms people get when we're talking about cakes.
Even down to the fucking amount of layers. Now, I know people are going to have opinions on this. I think it's a really shitty thing to do, in my opinion. But, fortunately, people like to shit on smaller businesses, which is a bit harsh, really. But,
I think this is like my third or fourth installment of TikTok, Cake-Tok. I do this series called TikTok Mums Behaving Badly, so maybe I should do something like Cake-Tok Bakers Behaving Badly. I don't know. I'm going to kind of sit with it because a lot of mum content and a lot of cake content comes up on my FYP. So if you're interested in any of those things, please think about joining us. It would be absolutely lovely to have you. For today's edition of Cake-Tok Bakers Behaving Badly, we have two separate dramas that are going on, and both of which are actually in the UK. We do like a slice of cake and a cup of tea, let's be real. So yeah, I kind of feel like it would be the perfect breeding ground for some angry cake eaters. I don't know, let me know your thoughts and feelings. I've covered plenty of other people from across the pond who are equally as mad about cakes. But the first place we're going to go to, people are furious because Tesco have released this Matilda cake. It comes from Matilda. It's Bruce Bogtrotter's cake, the one that he's forced to eat by the Trunchbull. We all know the book, yeah? Well, they have just come out with a Matilda cake. And this cake actually comes from a bakery called Studio Bakery. It is not Tesco making it, it is Studio Bakery making it and then supplying it to Tesco. Now, if you don't know what Tesco is a bit like Morrison's. So I would compare it to either a Sainsbury's or a Morrison's in how expensive things are nowadays. You cannot convince me that it's even worth shopping there without a club card. The club card brings it back to a normal price. Okay, if you don't have a club card, you're spending like £7 on some butter. It's ludicrous.
Tesco have just released the Matilda cake and it's already going viral on TikTok, so let's go and see if we can find it. I literally went to the biggest Tesco I could find in the hopes they'd actually have some left and basically sprinted to the cake aisle. But honestly, I couldn't see it anywhere. I thought I was going to have to drive to another Tesco. Spotted it. I swear the cake looked bigger online rather than in person, but I was still super excited to try it. I didn't actually realise they had two different flavours. This one is like a vanilla and jam one, I think. But guys, £16 kind of feels like a lot. I don't know, is that a lot? Let me know what you think. This one is the classic chocolate one and the packet says serves 10, but I honestly think I could eat all of this in one sitting, Bruce Bogtrotter style. So RIP to my bank account. And guys, this thing was heavy. It really is just a giant slab of pure chocolate cake. Looking at it, I'm honestly not sure how this thing serves 10. The slices must be so small. To be honest, I think this actually tasted quite good. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. I definitely take back my earlier comment that icing is the most dense thing ever. It was so rich. I had about 10 bites and felt sick, so Bruce definitely takes the crown on this one.
People are not very happy that Tesco is coming out with this cake. Why are people so angry about this Matilda cake, Amy? You may ask. Well, there is this company called Get Baked. They actually have a bakery open in Manchester. Yeah, as you can see, a little while ago, they came out with the Bruce cake, which is like the Matilda. It's all the same thing, all right? It's all the same thing. It is pretty expensive. I believe it's about £18 per slice.
We managed to get our hands on what is the UK's most sought after slice of cake. My jaw did hit the floor when Jade told me it cost £18. However, when I felt the weight of this, those thoughts were quickly absolved. So not just the weight, the sheer height of it too, banana for scale. This is the Golden Bertha from Get Baked. The chocolate cake with caramel, layers of milk and dark chocolate ganache, and on the outside, it's covered in a caramelised white chocolate ganache.
This thing is absolutely huge. Jeez, how much did this cost, Jade? £18 for one slice of cake. This isn't just a slice of cake. My God, that is so heavy. Compared to my head. Weighs a ton. Feed like 4 or 5 people with this. Let's go for it. Wow. Oh my God. Wow.
When they found out that Tesco was releasing it underneath that Studio Bakery thing, they were absolutely furious. It was so furious, right? They were saying, have fun with the Get Baked legal team. And 6,872 people actually liked that. Wish.com version of Get Baked's cake. Shake my head. Justice for Get Baked. Tag Get Baked. Don't let Get Baked know someone else is making their cake. I like the sarcasm. Teamy version of Get Baked masterpiece. I'm just going to put a little disclaimer. Every single time I start talking about cakes as if I know something about cakes. I don't. I can't bake for the life of me. I don't even really eat cake that much. I'm going to be honest. I'm more of a cookie or biscuit girl, really. A layered cake. It's a layered cake. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. We're drawing inspiration from the same place. But hold on a minute. You're drawing inspiration from somewhere. Not as if Get Baked came up with the concept of this Bruce Bogtrotter cake, because they got inspiration from the Roald Dahl book. I feel like we have enough space in the market to be able to, have both cakes and be perfectly satisfied. People have been taking to their TikToks and comparing both the cakes. Of course they have. This does not surprise me. I do feel really bad for this creator because she did say that she is having like a whole pavlova over her mortgage, whoever, whatever. I do feel bad for her. I'm really sorry. I need to use your video because this is just going to show how up in arms people really are about these cakes, all right? So she comes on and she is furious. Yes, she's furious about her mortgage, but she's also pretty furious about the fact that Tesco have come out with this cake.
Get Baked versus Matilda. I'm really sorry. This is a shit review, guys. I've just had an email about the mortgage and I'm stressing over that. Anyway, as you can see, Get Baked, the presentation is fucking incredible. Also, if you weren't aware, if Get Baked produced a cake like that, it would be reduced instantly and put on their website. So keep an eye out. It's literally a complete fucking rip-off. I'm sorry if anyone comes at me of Get Baked. Like 100%. It's just Get Baked looks better. Down to the fucking amount of layers. Now, I know people can have opinions on this. I think it's a really shitty thing to do in my opinion, but fortunately people like to shit on smaller businesses, which is a bit harsh really. I am cutting the Matilda cake just to show you. Now cutting wise, it's not that great to cut, but then you compare it to Get Baked. Cuts like a fucking dream. Watch. No falling apart. Dense, thick fucking layers. Perfect ganache to sponge ratio. Now, when it comes to the tasting of them, I'm sorry, the video is really fucking shit that I've done. Like I said, I'm really stressed out at the moment. Now, Get Baked, I would say you can taste the more chocolatey. It's like a rich chocolate. You can taste the quality of the chocolate that's in it. And it has more of a homemade feel. Whereas the Matilda cake, it just tastes like a bog standard chocolate cake. It's not awful. Not going to tell you it's a shit cake. It's not a shit cake. Would I get it again? No. Would I get Baked again? Yes. And I fucking have.
Now, I can appreciate she's in a bit of a mess about her mortgage, right? I'm trying to do something and all I can think about is something really shitty going on in my life. I fully appreciate it. However, I feel like our anger could be directed elsewhere. I don't think it's that serious. People are saying, in all honesty, Get Baked didn't invent the idea of a multi-layered ganache cake, and they certainly didn't invent a Matilda-themed cake, so whether or not it's morally right or wrong, Tesco haven't done anything illegal. Not Your Basic Mama says, that's your opinion though, and that's fine. We aren't all going to agree, but my opinion, having them side by side, I find it wrong. I would just like to remind everyone that neither of these companies came up with this idea of the Bruce cake, right? That cake was invented by Roald Dahl. It just was not put into like real life form. But someone else said, mate, get a grip. Why are you shaming on a small business over a cake, acting as if Get Baked invented chocolate cake slices? The Tesco one is made by a small business that supplies to them and Tesco gave them a platform. And for your kind information, Get Baked isn't a small business, so get a grip and stop shaming other businesses for trying to make it and breathe. Not Your Basic Mama said, I'm saying it's copied, and there is literally an article where they said they got their inspiration from Get Baked. It's not cool to do that to another business, and that's my opinion on the subject. You will clearly have yours, and that's fine, but I ain't about that life. Don't mind me, I'm just lying on the floor because it's more comfortable right now. I have been doing a little bit of digging into like who Studio Bakery are, and they are a family-run business from Lancashire. But this is like their shop right here. Like they are a family owned small business, just like the other people are in Manchester, right? At the end of the day, Tesco made a decision to go with this family business rather than Get Baked. Both started off as small businesses is what I'm trying to get at. The only difference is that Studio Bakery is selling it because Tesco were like, yeah, we'll put it on our shelves. That's it. I'm sure if Get Baked created something, they could probably go to Tesco and be like, yo, do you want some of my muffins? And they'd be like, yeah, I really want some of your muffins. Let me price hack it up to like 15 quid per muffin. You know, £6.50 on your club card. Outfit change, okay, because I just came across this, but the Get Bake UK man who actually owns Get Bake Company, the Bruce Bogtrotter cake, he has actually responded to this via IG. So I'm going to read it to you. As you can imagine, I have received a very large number of messages from people sending me photos and links to this new dupe Get Baked cake that's available in Tesco. Stuff like this is quite exhilarating for me, so please allow me some time to take it all in. I feel like this is my big moment. It's akin to the time I did or didn't report myself to trading standards for using illegal sprinkles. I drove to work today listening to the theme tune to Succession on repeat. It's an hour-long journey. I very nearly smoked a cigarette. I'm not totally sure, but I think this would be a declaration of war. We'll see how it plays out. And the caption reads, you know in films when the bad guy says something like, if I wanted you dead, you'd already be dead? Well, my version of that is, if I wanted to be in supermarkets, we'd already be in supermarkets. When I say Waitrose can't even get a text back, I mean they've been sat on red with Asda and Morrison's for the last 6 months. This shit's chess, it ain't checkers. Sorry, I've just always wanted to say that, GB. Now, I interpret that as someone who's not actually taking this very seriously, but I sense a lot of like sarcasm and jokes in there. I don't think he cares that much about the fact that people are like in an uproar about this. But if there's anyone else that interprets what he's saying as anything else, please let me know. But I just think he's seeing the humor in this more than anything else. Anyone who's seen the film or read the book can visualize exactly what that is. He kind of came up with that concept, the look of it, you know? Of course, yeah, chocolate cake's been around for a long time. I'm just saying that the Bruce Bogtrotter cake, we can all visualize it. You can almost taste it. I'm getting a bit hungry talking about this. Other people are just bringing that idea to life. And who's to say that only one place can bring that idea to life? There have also been other companies and other restaurants I've seen all over TikTok, because now all of a sudden that's all that's being recommended to me, who are doing these Bruce Bogtrotter cakes, but they're just not selling it on such a great scale. What do you guys think about that? Do you actually think there's anyone in the right in this situation? And the next person we have to go to is someone called the Flower Baby. Put her up here. She actually appeared on my FYP a month or so ago because she was kind of getting attacked a little bit in the comment section. She had created these little wedding sample pieces for her cakes, and instead of it being in the, you know, more traditional rectangular shaped, she makes mini cakes as sample, like as little tasters. She then made a follow-up video to it, which got a lot of people really pressed because she said, it's really weird seeing other people copy me, kind of almost insinuating that she came up with this idea.
Other bakers are using my design for their wedding cake samples. Let's make an order of my taster cakes while we talk about it. So for those who don't know, I designed and created these little cakes to be my wedding cake taster samples. And when I posted them on TikTok a couple of months ago, they went a bit crazy and they became really popular, not just with wedding couples wanting to taste my cakes, which was what I had originally designed them to do, but with all kinds of people who are single, people who are already married, people who just want cake. And I just received such a warm reception to them and lots of people really liked them. And I also had quite a few bakers comment or message to say that they're going to start doing theirs like this too. I personally hadn't seen anybody doing their wedding cake tasters like this. Usually they are traditional slices of cake that are wrapped in cellophane and they're just rectangular portions of cake. So seeing other bakers now adopting these as their own has felt quite strange. It's very flattering and very cool to see the influence that my designs and my little cakes have had. I've had some bakers recreate these and they've tagged me in their photos, which is really the best way you can go about it. I'm very grateful to people who tag me and credit me for the design. I think naturally we all are quite protective over our creations, so I can't deny it does feel a little bit weird. And usually when people copy or replicate a design, they don't tend to let you know that they're going to do it. So it's felt strange to be notified that they are planning to do this. I totally respect the transparency though, and also really respect that people have tagged me and credited me. I have come across a few people who have adopted these but haven't tagged me or credited me, and I can also understand the reasons for that too. It's your business. You want it to come across as your own. You don't want to tag another baker, maybe redirect people to that baker. But yeah, on the whole, people have been very lovely. It's flattering and it's unavoidable on this app. And I am grateful to people who let me know and also credit me when they do make them.
Although she was very quick to say she doesn't care that people, you know, are either crediting her or not crediting her, because at the end of the day, people do whatever they need to for their own business, which I thought was nice. But people were still not happy with her. They were saying, oh my God, so is Tesco, Asda, Morrison's, Aldi, Lidl. They're all copying each other around. Cry me a river. And the Flower Baby said, I actually said nothing negative about it and that it's unavoidable. Use your listening skills, my dear. We get it. You think you came up with this concept. I got married 6 years ago. The bakery we selected used tasters exactly like this. Following on from that, she's obviously gained like a little bit of soreness amongst followers. Whatever reason, I personally think that everyone is really overreacting to that. But she had this one person who also has their own bakery page up here, who basically was attacking her because she was using, I don't know, like some plant stalks, some foliage of some description in her cakes. This particular person was not very happy with her and was leaving her a series of comments. And after she'd left, a lot of these really, you know, okay, we're still talking about cake comments, she was then blocked. She then started making burner accounts to come back on to then harass her even further.
Wasn't going to say anything about this, but this cake business owner on the screen right now has left multiple comments like this, and since blocking them, they logged into a burner account, searched my name, found the video, commented again. So it's getting a little bit worrying. It's bordering on harassment, bullying territory. I think a lot of people will be able to testify that I'm very, very open to different opinions, suggestions, advice, even criticism. You can go and find hundreds of comments of that nature on my videos from people who remain unblocked. But when there's a persistence there and a clear intention to be rude or to say sort of ominous things like suggesting multiple times that my business might get closed down, when it feels really targeted and relentless, I will block you. I see so many cake makers on this app, sometimes doing things that I wouldn't particularly do. If for some reason I felt really compelled to tell them that they're doing something unsafely, then the most I would do is probably send them a direct message and say, hey, maybe you could do it this way, this is safer, or whatever it is. But there's a very slim chance I'd ever do that, because who am I to do that? I'm not an environmental health officer. I made a bunch of assumptions that I go to supermarkets, buy flowers and tell customers they can eat them, essentially. When in reality, I buy flowers from florists and I wrap the stems in tape that is EU approved for use with edible items. Any edible flowers that I buy from fruit and veg retailers, and they arrive in a punnet just like some raspberries would, because they're intended to be eaten. Those are the flowers that can go directly on a cake because every part of them is edible and they are pesticide free and intended for eating. This cake business owner was following me and I had a quick look at their cakes, which are very perfect looking and flawlessly decorated, by the way. I can see they use things like polystyrene balls that are usually coated in acrylic paint, Barbie dolls, glass bottles, metallic butterflies, chocolates that are still in the wrappers. Most of those things are not food safe, not sterile. It looks like you place them directly on your cakes. But again, I'm going to assume that you have safety measures in place and you're placing a barrier between those and the cake. I will assume you know what you're doing. You're a professional, you're a seasoned baker, and it just never would be any of my business. Both cake makers, we both have businesses to protect. I wouldn't dream of suggesting you will get in trouble or your business will get closed down. I wouldn't dream of leaving you unpleasant comments and then if you block me, coming onto a different account and kind of suggesting that I'll keep logging into accounts to keep contacting you. If your intention is to be intimidating or threatening in some way, then I would argue that that is really not the good look for a business owner. When there are multiple receipts of you targeting someone in a way that is not helpful or kind, that's not the sort of business I would want to get behind. I also wouldn't have the time to do that sort of thing. How do you have the time? I've made a lot of cake maker friends on here and we often give each other help, support, advice, and I would like to keep doing that and keep receiving those types of comments and connections.
And she has her own little baking cakery TikTok as well. And she makes really good cakes. You know what I mean? I mean, they could be fake. I don't even know why you want to jeopardize your business by harassing another business online. This makes no sense. But this is not the first time I have seen bakers v bakers just having a go for what? Why? Why are we having a go? It is just a cake. Yeah, I am drawn to cake bake drama. I'm drawn to it. I love it. It does make me giggle. Although at the same time, I can't help but just look out of my window and just think, stare into the abyss. Like, there are people living amongst me who really have like a vendetta against the Tesco Matilda cake. This is the world we're living in right now. And I do understand it to a certain degree. No one wants to feel like they've been copied. But realistically, it is just a cake. it wasn't an idea that they necessarily came up to begin with. Anyway, that is pretty much all I had to say to you guys today. Revolving Cake-Tok drama. I do actually have a TikTok Mums Behaving Badly that's going to be out probably on Sunday. So yeah, keep your beady little eyes peeled for that one. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.